Alright, my name is Santiago, and today I'm going to share with you how tarot actually works from behind the scenes, from a reader's perspective as well as the customer, courtesy of Jessica Murray, who does a phenomenal job on giving insight on how this all works. So let's check it out.
Hello everyone, we're going to be talking about getting addicted to tarot readings, divination and the twin flame narrative. So today I think the focus is really going to be on taking the addiction away from having to know what's going to come into your future. I know it's hard, especially in uncertain times, and like I've said before, when I was a tarot reader, the people that would come to me the most are people that I've recently been through breakups. Those that want to know if they're going to get back together with their ex-partners, they want to check up on their exes, not knowing what job's going to come up for them next, maybe being out of work and getting quite anxious about that. So there are all kinds of reasons why you may find yourself getting addicted to tarot. When people ask the question about tarot cards, are they real? Yes. They work, yes, they're very real, they do what it says on the tin. This is going to be a demonstration using Bible verse cards. These are not tarot cards, they're not oracle cards, it is purely for explaining how they work. So say you come to me for a tarot reading, or you're watching a video of a tarot reading online, and there is something that you really want to know the answer to. Perhaps you've just had a breakup, or you, like I say, you're looking for a new job and things feel very, very unstable. You're going to come to the tarot reader, and the first thing that's going to happen is the tarot reader is going to tap in with your familiar spirit. They will call this your spirit guide or your ancestor. Believe me, that spirit guide will pose as that. So they're not lying. Tarot readers are not lying to you. They genuinely believe that they're helping you and they're talking to spirit guides or past loved ones. So you come and see the tarot reader. Once again, these are Bible cards. They're Bible verses. They're not tarot cards. They're not oracle cards. I'm just doing it as a demonstration. And the person who's reading you will get the information straight away from your familiar spirit, your monitoring spirit, and that spirit will tell them something very accurate about you. For example, oh, I can see here on the cards you lost a job recently, or you've had a loss, or you've had a breakup. Ah, yes, immediately, true. So it engages you and you come into agreement with the reader, because what the reader is now saying is, I know you, I've got the facts on you. So you come into agreement with them because what they're saying is true. Then what you do is you allow the reader to tap into your life. So they're going to shuffle the cards, and this is how tarot works. So they'll start shuffling the cards. A card will come out. Bearing in mind, this is like playing Russian roulette with your future. They don't go through the cards and choose the nice ones. There are plenty of nice ones, but there are a lot of nasty, horrible tarot cards. So Russian roulette, a card will come out. Perhaps it will be very positive. Oh, I can see a new job coming, and it will be very accurate. Now, that doesn't mean that the tarot reader or psychic can see your future. And bear in mind, I was one of the most accurate ones. It doesn't mean they're looking into your future. It means that what comes out on the card, you come into agreement with, and the demons are then able to make happen. So it's become...
Wow. See, that right there is so insightful, because most people believe that when you get a tarot card reading or a psychic reading, that at that point, oh, that this person must know the future. They must know what's going to happen to me. Like, what's going to happen with my ex? You know, what kind of job am I going to get? Where am I going to live? Am I going to have another baby? Am I going to have another husband or wife or whatever? But what she's saying is that you actually come into agreement. So you're making like a spiritual contract with the entity on the other side. And together or collectively, they make it happen on the demonic realm, which is crazy. I had no idea that that's actually how that worked.
Coming into agreement with something, which is why it's so important. Don't come into agreement with everything that shows up for you, because you don't always know what that is and if it's from God. Come into agreement with what the cards say, therefore it starts to play out. It's not that they're seeing your future. They can't. Nobody can see your future. Coming into agreement with the tarot reader, what you're saying is accurate. I like what you're saying. You then spiritually engage, and then things start to play out. On your first reading, you will very rarely get a bad reading. The enemy knows what he's doing. He's going to make sure you get a very pleasant reading, so much so that you come back again, and you will come back again, because what you came into agreement with when those cards came out will play out in your future. Therefore, you come into agreement, that tarot reader or those tarot cards or that psychic knows my future. I need to go back and find out what else is going to happen. What happens is when you start
This is so crazy. So if you've actually known anyone who's done psychic readings or tarot readings, they're super addicted. Like they have to do it at least once a month or every so often. They're usually like on a schedule where they have like a certain person that they go see like every month, or they are super addicted, and it's just crazy to try to get them away from this. So yeah, shout out to Jessica for exposing. Let's go.
Allowing psychics and tarot readers to get into your future, it disregards God's plan. Remember that you have free will. So when you're going to psychics and tarot readers, you give the enemy your future. God has a plan for you, and I'll give you a great example. So say you come to the tarot reader and you say, what's my next partner going to be like? They shuffle the cards, and then it starts to come out, oh yeah, he's going to be 6 foot, green eyes, whatever. Actually, the enemy has somebody planned for you, which is why so many times people that do love spells or readings end up meeting somebody very bad for them, narcissists or whatever else, when the whole time God had a plan for you to meet your partner in a certain way, and now it's been infiltrated and thrown off because you've allowed the psychic reading to implement on your life. Tarot is not from God. Psychic readings are not from God. God has a plan for you. He specifically says in the Bible not to use divination for this reason. It is cursing your life. It is not showing you what's going to happen. It's making things happen. So you'll notice that when you stop doing tarot readings, a lot of this stuff will stop, because in tarot there are some nasty cards as well. So when I used to do tarot for myself, there was always a betrayal, because that 3 of Swords came in. Now, no matter how you want to play it down and say, oh, it doesn't mean this, it is a picture of a heart with 3 swords in it. Even if you try and twist up the meaning, you already know it's already been psychologically implanted as well. In comes the spirit of fear. Bingo, there's going to be a betrayal. You come into agreement with it, and therefore the betrayal happens. This is how people end up getting addicted to tarot readings, psychic readings, because while it's accurate, of course it's accurate, because it's making it happen. And again, I'm not saying this as a religious person that hates psychics. I was one of the most accurate psychics online. I had a booking list that was over 2.5 years long. So I know exactly what I'm talking about. I know exactly why it's so accurate. I know exactly why you feel the need to get these readings. I totally understand. If you become addicted to tarot cards, you annihilate God's plan. You are saying to God, I don't want your plan. I want to see what comes out on these cards. And then you try to play God. And this is why, as well, so many people are never happy. Why do you think tarot readers make so much money? Because you come back again and again and again and again. It is a massive industry. Tarot reading, I think, is 2.1 billion right now in the US alone. And I'm going to move on to twin flames in a second, which is a $3.8 billion industry. The enemy is using a very, very gifted person. So people that are psychic and do readings, they usually have a gift of prophecy, where the enemy comes in early doors, throws them off, tells them they're a psychic, and starts using them for his plan. So this person who's doing a reading on you, I promise you now, 9 times out of 10 are not trying to harm you. They're not trying to throw you off course. They want to heal you and they want to help you. Their intentions, 9 times out of 10, are pure. The problem, however, is the source. Now, when you are practicing tarot, when you are practicing New Age, you get something called a deceptive scale. So the deceptive scales that come over your eyes do not allow you to see what is going on. It is a massive deception, which is why when you explain this to a tarot reader or a psychic, they actually think you've lost the plot. Same as I did, until God removed the scales and showed me what was actually going on. These are not spirit guides. These are not ancestors. They're not gods or goddesses. They are demons. They are monitoring spirits and familiar spirits that are feeding information to the psychics to get an accurate read on you, so that you trust them and come into agreement with them, and therefore become addicted to tarot readings. I need you to understand that what you're trying to do is gain control over your future because you are terrified. The ultimate baseline of tarot is feeding on fear. People don't go and get readings when they're happy. People don't go and get readings when they're stable in life. People don't go and get readings when they are settled. People go and get psychic readings when they are desperate, fearful, most of the time, and they are terrified. They're looking for a way to get some control over what's to come. So therefore, the enemy will use the healer, right? The tarot reader, the psychic, who wants to help you, to curse your life when actually they're trying to help you, or they think they're trying to help you. You're trying to gain control over your future. Lo and behold, a massive, horrendous spiritual mess. And nobody can see the truth. It's all a big deception. Nobody's happy. Everybody's anxious, including tarot readers. Psychics and tarot readers get absolutely hammered spiritually. They have all kinds of demons coming at them, spirit guides, ancestors. There's no peace in this. And above that, tarot readers and psychics are then held responsible for your future. When the person's doing the reading, right, they will think that they're helping you, and most of the time it's lovely. Now, somebody will come back from that reading and say, this didn't happen, or you've cursed me. So therefore you then open up a doorway as well for incredible hatred and scrutiny. All of a sudden that tarot reader is then responsible for your future. They get absolutely hammered. They get spiritually attacked. They get physically attacked. They get insulted. They get competition. Other tarot readers try to play down tarot readers and psychics. This person's a fake. This person's a scammer. It is a cesspit.
Yeah, this is what she's explaining is exactly what happens in the church charismatic movement. It's specifically like in the prophetic movements and stuff. If anyone who is in that space or is familiar with that space, same exact thing. Oh, well, that's a false prophet. That's a false prophet. Oh, don't go to him. He gives false readings. And the thing is with God's prophets as well, we can give you a word, or they can give you a word, and it may not necessarily come to pass either. But there are spiritual reasons for that. It's not necessarily that that prophet was wrong. He's basically given like one timeline or one scenario that could happen. This is what God does want for you. However, if that person isn't in alignment with God's word at that time, well, then that timeline could kind of shift off course. And whatever that prophet had spoken to that person would not come to pass. So what she's saying here is basically the same thing does happen from the psychic point of view as well. That sometimes, hey, things just don't pan out. Perhaps it could have been a false reading, one, obviously. Same thing on the prophetic side, church side. Sure, it could have been a false pastor, prophet, whatever, just kind of giving a word, just kind of off the hip, and just hoping something sticks, right? Or sometimes people just, they feel like they just need to tell someone like a good word to just kind of encourage them, that kind of thing. And sometimes it just doesn't hit. But from a spiritual perspective as well, on the psychic side, that person may have also done something that deviated their timeline, and they went off of course. So, it just kind of depends. But I love how she's breaking this down. Like I said, this is absolutely the best breakdown I've heard anyone ever give on tarot.
Of the demonic. Moving on to the twin flame deception. Like I just said.
Okay. All right. So I'm not going to get into the whole twin flame thing, but I do want to say that Jessica is an ex-witch, and it does take a lot of courage to come out like this and out your whole ex-family. So if you got any value from this video, I'd kindly ask you to send a prayer for Jessica for spiritual protection, because oftentimes people who expose these kind of occult practices like this, they deal with a lot of spiritual attacks. Okay, it could just be some jealousy from, people who used to be in that realm. It could be the dark realm itself. So I'm just going to kindly ask you to send her a prayer for protection. And I'm also going to ask you to like the video if you did get any value, if you learned something today. And subscribe if you're new here, follow for more, and I'll catch you next time.